Forza Horizon 4 is one of the best racing games of all time. Let's find out why.
Team Canada.
What's going on, guys? I'm SeeJayAre. Welcome back for another review video. Today I will be reviewing Forza Horizon 4 on the Xbox One. The biggest testament to this game is it strikes a perfect balance between arcade racing and simulation. The game is accessible for casual racing fans like myself, yet deep enough with its tuning and tweaking to satisfy fans of the original Forza series, the mainline Forza series, or Gran Turismo, something like that. My experience with racing games is pretty limited. I was a big fan of like Gran Turismo 2. I came up on the Gran Turismo series on the PlayStation. I dabbled a little bit into the Forza series, going back to the Xbox 360. And I got into Forza Horizon, I think with the second game. I got quite into number 3 that took place in Australia. And I just find that number 4 is kind of the pinnacle of the series. They've refined everything now to the point where it's pretty close to perfection. As somebody who's not a massive racing game fan, I found myself, I think I put 50 to 60 hours into this game. I couldn't put it down, and that's a testament to how they've designed this game, the way that they've laid out the missions. It just kind of keeps you coming back for more. One of the biggest things with this game is, well, it takes place in Britain, in the UK. So you've got like a simulated, kind of shrunken down version of Britain. So you've got England, I believe, yeah, Scotland. You know, it's got hills, it's got a nice like historical city, the English countryside. It's got some really varied environments. But what varies the environments even more is the seasons. So you've got a full season change. So you've got spring, summer, fall, winter, and then it cycles through, which really varies the missions, and certain missions are only available during those seasons. So it really keeps you coming back for more, and with the season changes bring different conditions. So obviously in winter you've got snow, in spring you've got more muddy conditions, which are more conducive to like dirt and rally races. It's just a really smart way to switch things up in a game. We've seen other games with DLC that feature like, you know, winter sections. But it's nice to have all 4 seasons incorporated into this game. The setting itself is beautiful, lots of varied environments. I really like they've done these historical moments, so you can be driving down the road past Edinburgh Castle, I think it's called, and you can just hit the button and your guy will hop out and you'll get a quick little, you know, 10-second blurb about this historical castle in Scotland. So I enjoyed those little historical moments. So we've got tons of different types of races as well. So I'm a big fan of the Rally Sport Challenge series on the original Xbox, which is like a dirt off-road rally racing game. So I still to this day, I think that like rally racing is my favorite type of racing. So we've got rally races, we've got cross-country races, which I think were probably my most fun to play in this game. Cross-country is just, you're not following the roads most of the time, you're just going through checkpoints, you know, over hills, up mountains. You're usually using like big off-road trucks or buggies. Really enjoyed those. There's traditional road races, and then there's street races, which it's funny, there's this character named, oh, what was his name again? Jay, I believe it's Jay, and he's like, listen, these races are not sanctioned by the Horizon Festival, so let's just keep them on the down low a little bit. So they're the kind of like semi-legal street races that aren't part of the Horizon thing, so it gives you that like Fast and Furious kind of underground vibe, which I thought was really cool. There's drift races, the drag races were interesting. I've never really played drag racing in a game before. 450 different cars in this game, and it's super varied. The thing I find with this game, and I guess you could kind of see it as a negative, but half the cars I get, I'll never actually drive. So there's a bunch of like comical cars, you know, quirky British cars, a lot of the barn finds in this game. One thing I really liked was they're very British centric, so a lot of the cars that you find, like one was, I believe, the Mini from the Italian Job movie, and they go into like a lot of historical things, like, oh, this was a driven by a famous British police officer in this film, and I thought that was really cool. But I did find that most of the cars I collected, more than half of them I'll never actually drive. But when you did actually get into these cars, each one of them provides a unique experience, which is, you know, the number one goal here for Forza Horizon is to provide that excellent racing experience. And you know, being able to jump from a Bugatti Veyron to my car of choice was the Subaru Impreza, which I modded, and it can keep up with anything yet go off-road. That was my, if you can get the Subaru Impreza, I highly recommend that. It's a great all-around car, great for almost every single race type. The difference between those cars, my point is noticeable, from everything from, you know, how much the tires will spin out when you first launch, the sound of the engine, traction going into corners, just everything, how the car feels, how the controller vibrates, depending on what car you're in, has just been nailed. I can't express how well the racing is done in this game. In terms of difficulty, the game is as hard or as easy as you want it to be. There's all different types of assists that can be turned on or off or toned down in some cases. And basically, the harder you make it, the more points that you will collect. If you're somebody that wants to win every race easily, then you can absolutely do that and still, you know, have that joy of completing a race. I found myself usually finishing between in the top 3. Sometimes I'd fall down to 4. So I like that balance of difficulty. I was okay with not winning every single race, but I think when all is said and done, I won, I don't know, probably 75% of my races. I want to feel like I'm doing well. I don't want to get my butt kicked. And as I said, I'm a pretty casual racing game fan. If you do make a mistake, the game still features the rewind feature, which you can push the Y button and it'll rewind 5 or 10 seconds and will help you negate and change the mistake that you made in the race. Because there's a lot of times where you'd be, you know, 20 minutes into a race and you clip a corner and that's it, your race is over. So hitting that Y button came in handy. I tried to only use it when completely necessary, and as far as I saw, there wasn't much or any penalty to using the Y button to rewind, or the rewind feature. So I really enjoy that they still have that feature in there, and it doesn't make you feel like you're cheating as long as you don't use it obsessively. So the game features 5 showcase races. I don't want to spoil them all, but I'm going to say my favorite, the one that I've seen that most of you have probably seen already, is the you're racing a hovercraft. There's 5 of these where you're racing cross-country against 5 unique vehicles. This year the game introduces Horizon Stories. The story mode, they're kind of small, little contained stories. One of them has you doing work as a stunt driver, so you've got to drive through, you know, off jumps and hit a certain amount of length, and you're racing against a fighter jet, I believe, in one of these. There was another storyline where you're working together with a YouTuber slash influencer. She kind of reminded me of Jenna Marbles, if you guys know Jenna Marbles. And she has you driving classic cars from classic video games. So you're driving, the first one you're doing is you're driving the car from Outrun, and she goes into a little spiel about how great the Outrun series was. I thought that was a really cool addition to the story mode of Forza Horizon 4. In terms of graphics and sound, this is absolutely one of the best looking games on the Xbox One. I played it on the Xbox One X in frame rate mode, so I got the full locked 60 frames per second, which is how I always play racing games whenever I can. I want that full 60 frames per second to give you that sense of speed. I went between the two and I couldn't really notice that much of a difference, so I definitely had to have that locked 60 frames per second. I'm playing it on a 4K TV, and the game is absolutely gorgeous. Full HDR, beautiful environments. Like I said, the cars look fantastic. In terms of sound, I already mentioned the unique sounds coming from the engines of the cars. A lot of times you can distinguish which car it is that you're driving by the sound alone, and you know, that's because of the great sound design that's in this game. The radio stations in this game were absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed the soundtrack and the mix of music that I found in this game. There's six to eight radio stations that you can flip through depending on whatever mood you're in, or for me, a lot of times it was dependent on which car I was driving. So if I was driving a classic English sports car, I would put on my gloves and listen to classical music. So in terms of music, the team really nailed the music. Such a variety of different types of music. I should quickly mention here, I mentioned the gloves. You can fully customize your avatar, so you can pick what your character looks like. You can change your clothes, different hats, glasses, watches. You can change the emotes that your character does, so you can change your character's victory dance, or I think they call it showboat dance. Of course, it's got all the Fortnite, the Millie Rock, and this weird thing that people do that I can't stand. Those are all there. So just a ton of customization options. The game's currency, the game's XP system in this game is called Influence. And as you earn more, you'll unlock wheel spins, where basically you hit the button and it spins, and you when you stop it, it lands on a specific prize, which can be credits that you can use to buy new cars or homes in this game. Or you can use it to buy, if it lands on, it can land on different clothing items or emotes and stuff like that. One other interesting thing I found is that by watching Mixer, you actually can gain influence points. So there's a whole bunch of people on Mixer who are streaming. If you stream, you get, I think, 3 times as much. So if you stream on Mixer the game, you can actually earn influence for streaming or for watching the stream on Mixer. So that's a good thing to know if you're just starting the game and you want to get some wheel spins and get your influence up. Just leave the stream on in the background. I see there's a whole bunch of people who are farming Mixer streams. They have streams that have been up for like 4 days straight, and people just leave them on to gain all these influence points. You could do it however you want. That's a way to fast track and unlock more cars. Not really cheating. It's not like it's gaining you any upper hand over other racers or anything like that. It's just will fast track you to unlocking more of the stuff within the game. So I thought it was kind of a cool way to do it. I definitely had the Mixer stream on for a few hours to gain some points, and it worked well. So anyways, guys, I can safely say that Forza Horizon 4 is my personal favorite racing game, at least in the last decade. I don't know if it quite passes Gran Turismo 2 for me. I put so much time into that game, but this is absolutely one of the best racing games released in the past decade. Highly recommend you check this one out. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, hit the like button and let me know in the comments below if you'll be picking up Forza Horizon 4 or what you think of the game already. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next episode.